You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C, aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C, aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you. No questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult and finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C, aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you. No questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult and finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you. No questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult and finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading. You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult and finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading.
All right, hey guys. So sorry for tonight. I am coming in late. There are unforeseen stuffs that happened earlier today, but I'm so glad that I have Peter who's assisting me tonight here on the show. And yeah, he just rolled that video for you guys. Um, Bit surprised that the LinkedIn is not here. We're not broadcasting there. I'm also wearing glasses, these darker glasses right now because a little bit hard for me to squint my eyes because of all the lighting right now, and my eyes also haven't been able to rest for quite some time. So hence the glasses. Uh, yeah, so before I answer the questions you have tonight, and it's being filled up here already on my screen, I am just going to go and show you what's new with the Leadership Sack podcast. So um, here we are. Just share that real quick. We have new episodes that were published this week. We have episode 309, published on December 7th, Three Leadership Principles of a Serial Entrepreneur. So this is a very, very good recording with Jay Halim. It's worth the time. I promise you that. 19 minutes. I love this recording. I learned so much from this guy. He has been able to start up a couple of businesses, and the lessons that I learned from him is really, really good stuff. And I encourage you to tune into this podcast recording. You will learn a lot. Then we have with Miss Erica Rodica, founder of Eka Swimwear. We talk about, should you practice financial leveraging, which means utang ka sa bangko when you start, or should you bootstrap, which means should you use your own money instead of borrowing money from the bank or from friends and family. And then again, with another episode with Mr. J. Halim, reverse engineering as a successful leadership method. And if you missed the first episode with him, published last week, December 2, how a side hustler triumphed to leadership. You should start with this one and then complete the episodes. I think there's 3 episodes with him so far. That might be it, and it's always less than 20 minutes each because we don't want to take so much of your time with giving that value straight up to you. So we have a couple of shout outs here. Just want to show the shout outs first. We have from Joan, thanks for tuning in. From Bry, good evening. From Cebu, awesome. All right. Miss Lizelle, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. And you have a question. How do you break bad habits? Breaking bad habits, if you are familiar with the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, I think. Yeah, that book was very helpful in showing me, or in relaying how we build good habits and how we break bad habits. Breaking or habit forming starts with a cue, such as when you look at someone who maybe has the habit of smoking. Smoking is a very strong addictive habit. He says that there's a cue, and those cues are what leads to people who smoke to smoke. Such as, for example, when you usually light up a cigarette when you drink coffee, then the chances are whenever you drink coffee, you think of cigarettes. Or when you drink beer or alcohol, chances are whenever you do that, if you are in the habit of lighting up a cigarette, that becomes a cue for you to light up a cigarette. So for us, entrepreneurs or leaders here, for example, we have the habit of um, binge watching Netflix. Just an example. I don't have a Netflix account right now, but if you're in the habit of binge watching Netflix, there usually is a cue. That cue could be a blank time, or a silent hour for you without doing anything, or when you're fresh out of work, fresh after work, and you don't have a lot to do, and you don't, you want to relax. That feeling of wanting to relax could be the cue for watching Netflix or watching TV or whatever it is that you're struggling with. So James Clear, in the book Atomic Habits, also argue that if you want to break bad habits, make sure that it is very hard for you to be able to do that habit. So he even argues that if you have a hard time breaking the habit of binge watching TV, to to whenever you're done watching, put that television in the cabinet. That's what he actually says in the book. Make it very hard for you to continue on that habit that you think is not a good habit for you, or you think is a bad habit that you need to break. Make it very hard, and make sure that you change the cues to to exhibit something else in your brain. So, for example, if, for example, my example earlier, drinking coffee or alcohol would signal or trigger to your brain that you usually light up a cigarette right after drinking coffee or alcohol. You have to replace that with something else. So maybe now when you drink coffee or you drink alcohol, instead of lighting up a stick, what you do is you eat a certain something, or you chew gum, whatever it is. You have to change that signal in your brain, with the cue that is the trigger for that bad habit. So it is very difficult to break bad habits. That's because habits by definition is something that we do that we don't even think about. So it comes naturally to us, and that's why it's hard to break. For a computer gamer, it could be that icon on your desktop that is just so easy to double click and you open the app, and now you're gaming and an hour or two passes by without you noticing. So the cue is that icon on your desktop, and whenever you see it, you think you want to play one or two games. That could be your cue. Making it extremely hard for you to get into that habit could mean uninstalling the game or deleting your account. There you go, right? That's the point of no return. You delete your account, right? So that is his it's a very good book. I suggest you pick a copy up and read it. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he talks about the science and the magic behind creating good habits and breaking bad ones. I hope that helps, Lizelle. And yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next question from V. How necessary is the process of vetting leads, and how did you come up with your own process? When you say vetting leads, I assume this is about checking the quality of the lead. Is it a good lead, a bad lead? Is it a qualified lead, or a lead that might be looking for something else? Believe it or not, we get emails asking if we hack Facebook accounts. I know that my company's name is SEO Hacker, but we don't actually hack anything. We do SEO and digital marketing, and that's why the company's name is SEO Hacker, because the word hacking means someone who likes to keep on improving stuff. And when you say SEO hacker, it means someone who likes to keep on improving his SEO game. So that those leads that ask us to hack some Facebook accounts or some email accounts, those are not good leads for us. Those are bad leads. And how do we qualify leads is whenever they whenever they're not a good lead, meaning they're asking for stuffs that we don't do, we just straight up tell them that, well, we're a digital marketing company. And if you're interested in digital marketing, then you've come to the right place. Otherwise, if it's hacking or something else, we're not really not the right place to for you to inquire in. But if it's a lead that is interested in digital marketing, how do I know which ones are good and which ones are not so good? What we do usually is we ask for their budget. So once we get in touch and they say, yeah, we're looking for an SEO company. Yeah, we've seen SEO Hacker. We ask them, well, were you able to see our price points or price ranges? And if they say no, then we show them the pricing page. And we say, these are pricing packages. Let us know if you want to move forward with that. And some companies who will not have the budget for SEO, or not that committed with SEO, or think of it as an afterthought, not so important. They wouldn't have a good amount of money set aside for SEO. They wouldn't have a good budget for SEO. But companies who are serious with their SEO game, they see our price and they know that SEO pays 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, sometimes even 10 times back the money back in ROI perpetually, infinitely. They're going to want to invest that money. And they know that partnering with the number one SEO company in the Philippines would probably the best bet they can get for their business to have that 5 to 10x ROI in a year. So those companies are okay with their price points, they're happy with it, and we move forward with the deal and we shake hands and we sign a contract. But other people or other companies who don't take SEO that seriously, they're not going to have the budget. And they're going to say, oh, you're out of budget. Masyado kayong mahal. And for us, if you look at the big picture of things, hindi talaga kami mahal. SEO Hacker is not an expensive SEO company in the grand scheme of things. Actually, if you know the pricing internationally of SEO Hacker is actually on the cheap range, right? It's on the cheap range, but we charge somewhere almost 200,000 a month, like 120,000, 200,000 pesos a month. For a lot of people and companies, mahal siya. But if you know that it's gonna bring back 5 to 10x ROI in a year, actually that makes a lot of sense, right? So people who think na mahal yung price point namin, they're probably not that serious with their SEO game anyway, and we probably don't want to partner with them because we want to partner with companies who are playing the long game. A lot of my clients have been with me 8 years, 11 years. I have a client who's been with me since the beginning, 11 years. SEO Hacker is 11 years old. One of our clients is 11 years old already, still with us today. So I like partnering with companies who want to go the long game. I don't like partnering with companies who just want to do one contract and that's it. So yeah, hope that helps and hope that answers your question, V. We have a question from Mitch. How important is it for businesses to understand the psychology behind how people make buying decisions? There's actually a book called Biology by Martin Lindstrom. That's also a very good book. And he uses EEG, or brain scans, to scientifically deduct which ads actually are effective. Does sex really sell in advertising? Does subliminal advertising really work? Or blatant ads of cars on TV, do they work? Do they help sell more cars? Biology is a pretty good book to answer this question, but that's a long read. I do encourage you to get that book and read it, though. I think that the psychology behind how people make buying decisions is case to case. It's not going to be the same. If you're buying chewing gum for 5 or 8 pesos per gum, you don't need to take a lot of time to decide which chewing gum you want to buy, right? So it wouldn't take you like 10 minutes to decide which chewing gum you're going to buy because it's super cheap. It's like I don't know, 5 pesos, 8 pesos. Whichever chewing gum is out there, it doesn't matter. You probably just pick one up, the wrapper that you like most or the brand that you're used to the most, I guess, wouldn't take you any more than 10 minutes. But if you're buying our SEO service, which is like 120,000 pesos a month or upwards, that's going to take months of decision making. And it's not just going to be you trying to decide, it's going to be you and the CEO. If you're the marketing guy, it's going to be you, the marketing guy or marketing girl, the CEO, the CFO, and a couple of other people in the board. It's a lot of people deciding on this, and it would take 3 months to a year maybe for you to be able to decide, yeah, you want to go with SEO Hacker. So the psychology behind how people make buying decisions is different. It varies based on what they're buying. If you're buying chewing gum, it doesn't take a lot to figure out. It's all about the taste, the wrapper, the price, the branding, and that's pretty much it. If you're gonna buy an SEO company's services, such as SEO hackers, there's a lot of things to look at. Are you going to be able to work well with this team? Are they ranking for their own keywords? Do they have a proven track record? Do they have a lot of clients or a big portfolio under their wing that you could check out? So there's a lot of decision making points that needs to be ticked before you decide on a bigger purchase. Or when you're purchasing a house, it does take a long time for you to decide when you're going to, or which house you're going to be buying for your family to live in long term. That's going to take months or years depending on how long you got till your rent expires. So I think it's very important that business owners have a familiarity. I'm not going to say that you have to master how people buy or the psychology behind people's buying decisions, but you have to be familiar with that. Yeah, I hope that answers the question, Mitch, and I hope that helps. Question from Bryce? My book, oh, the CEO at 22 book. Unfortunately, it's not, because it's got like National Bookstore to get there. It's they take a significant margin off of the book. And my book, CEO 22, it's published with full color. It's fully colored. It's not black and white. And I didn't use recycled paper, the yellowish paper. I used high quality paper, and that's because of my branding. My branding is I do the best SEO here in the Philippines. SEO Hacker is known as the number one SEO company here in the country. So I wouldn't want to use like cheap paper for my book. I also don't want it black and white because it does express more of my character when there's color in the book. And because of that, the cost of printing for me is significantly higher. And then I talked with the potential distributor before, and the distribution percentage and national bookstores or any other bookstores here, their percentage, when you add it up, there's only going to be a tiny amount that's going to be left over for me. And that tiny amount, guess what? When I computed it, it's the cost of my printing. In short, I'm going to make zero income from it. It just totally does not make sense for me to go to National Bookstore unless I'm going to jack up the price of my book to like 800 or 900 pesos. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be 650 pesos, and that's it. I didn't want to jack up the price any higher. So that's the reason why it's only available in my site, sean.c/book, or in Lazada and Shopee. We also made it available there. So you could buy it from there if you want. Hope that helps. And yeah, I hope someday, someday maybe we could go to national. I don't know, but right now that's what we got. It's my website, Lazada and Shopee. Question from V is closing a sale that seems lowball better not than not closing the sale at all. Yes, but it would also depend on where you are in business. So if you're starting out, if you're just a startup company and you have one or two people that you're paying as an expense as your employees. So may pinapasweldo ka. I think if you're gonna be in the red, meaning kulang na yung pera mo, kulang na yung revenue, and you need more revenue to come in, getting a lowballed client would not seem like such a bad choice if you're in that tough spot. But if you're in the spot where you have manpower and you have a lot of projects. Okay, so like for SEO Hacker, we have a lot of projects. Manpower is something that we need to increase right now. And we are hiring. We are consistently looking for people to hire. If you're interested, by the way, please do send us your resume. The email address is hr@seo-hacker.com. Peter, if you can, please put that on the banner. So if you want to apply, we have so many open positions. You can also go to the URL seohacker.services/jobs. That's where you find out all of our open positions, and that's where you can also check out which ones would fit you perfectly. So for me, it's if the manpower is kulang and you have a lot of projects coming in, which is where SEO Hacker right now is, taking a low ball deal is really not good. It doesn't make sense because I'm gonna allot pretty much the same amount of manpower for the low ball deal and the deal that's paying us correctly. That's because I don't want to lowball anyone with the output, right? So you lowball me with price, I'm probably gonna commit the same output because we have our own branding to take care of. And if you've watched any one of my previous episodes where people ask me what branding is all about, it's all about consistency. Consistency of output, consistency in excellence, consistency in what you communicate in your advertisements, in your marketing. So you want to be consistently good, even if you got lowballed. And that's why if you have more projects than manpower, don't take lowball deals because that's going to damage your reputation. Or if it doesn't, you're going to feel bad that you put the manpower there and you're not getting paid right for that. So, no to lowball deals if you have more projects than people. But if you have more people than projects and you need to cover the expense, maybe you're just starting out, this may not be such a bad idea. So the answer to this question is it largely depends on where you are in business. Because you also gotta be smart. You can't be in the red. Remember, when expenses are greater than revenue, that means your business is bleeding out. That's why we use the red ball pen to write a negative in the ledger in your accounting. And you wouldn't want to be in the red. You always want to be in the black. So revenue always has to be greater than expenses. And if that low ball deal would get you on the black, might not be such a bad idea. I personally had some low ball deals when I started out. But one big reason why I accepted them is those are pretty big brands, right? So LG, Land Rover, those are pretty big brands when I was starting out. And I have the permission, I asked permission if I could put that in my portfolio, and they said yes. Those were lowball deals, sure, but they were very big brands that I could put in my portfolio. So even if I got the losing side because I got lowballed with that deal and I still gave excellent service, the thing is, at the end of the day, those brands in my portfolio helped a lot long term. Helped a lot long term. Bragging rights in it. So it's pretty important that I also have those brands in my portfolio. From Bry, wow, EEG, I had that test after my head injury. Oh, wow. Didn't know it could be vital in biological research and digital marketing. Not just digital marketing. Martin Lindstrom in that book, Biology, actually used it for advertising research, which is very, very interesting. Very good stuff. So again, for those of you who have just tuned in, the reason why I'm wearing these amber lenses is because my eyes are a bit tired, and I have to turn on the lights and stuff to make sure that I have good image here. You're seeing a lighter image, not me in a very dark and unfocused way. Okay, another question from Mitch. When did the whole world start adapting the data driven approach in sales and marketing? How do I apply this approach without being overwhelmed with too much information? I think that data driven sales and marketing hails way back even before the digital age. But during that time, they did it using pen and paper. Data has always been around. It's just collating data, organizing it, making the most sense out of it is much easier because of the digital world where you have a lot of ways to translate the data, a lot of ways to arrange it, a lot of ways to code it the way that you need it to be coded or programmed and understand it better. So, because of the advent of digital marketing, data driven sales and marketing has become more and more attractive, and it has also become more and more cost efficient for a lot of companies. It's become cheaper. So I think that a lot of companies today actually have adopted that. In fact, we do that for our clients. We tell them this is what's happening with your website. These are the kinds of people that we attract in the site. These are the keywords that they're searching for. And what does this mean for you is this, this, and this. And what you can do is capitalize on this, this, and that so that you're going to be able to make more sales. And this and that is what we can execute in your conversion optimization, in your user experience, in your website and mobile website, so that you're converting better, you're selling more, you're getting more conversations out of your visitors and audience. So we ourselves in SEO Hacker do that for our clients. And I'm sure other companies out there are doing it themselves in house with their teams, because SEO Hacker, we only control the website and the SEO. We don't control any of their IT infrastructure, backends, whatever. Um, they're going to be able to see the more complete version of the story if they piece all of those together. How do you apply this approach without being overwhelmed? I think that if it was me, I would start, of course, with Google research. I think Salesforce would have a very good information about this because they are a data-driven sales software. That's where they started. I know they're bigger now. They're an ERP and they do pretty much everything, but that's where they started. HubSpot may also have good information about this, so that's also one website you might want to check out. I do not think that data driven sales and marketing is overwhelming in terms of research. It's actually very simple. It's very simple. It's not difficult to understand how you can sell better if you have good data. So the thing about why we're not seeing more and more companies publish about it today is because that's sensitive information, number one. And number two, a lot of companies actually struggle with making sense of the data that they have. So that's another thing that um, is hindering a lot of companies today from having a really good data driven decision making approach to their sales and marketing. Especially here in the Philippines, we're like 10, 20 years behind other companies abroad. So you really don't see cutting edge stuff here in the Philippines practiced by companies. A lot of companies here still think old school, super old school actually. Talagang medyo mabagal talaga tayo mag-adapt. No? And I'm in the digital marketing field. I know it. I talk to companies. I educate business owners who are baby boomers or late Gen Xers, and you could see how they make decisions. I personally could attest how they think, and we're really like 10, 20 years behind other countries abroad. And for me, that's not so bad because I'm as a digital marketer, I'm also positioned well right now in terms of authority and branding to help them out and also be the first one to educate them about the truth of digital marketing. That's one of the best ways I close deals actually and win clients. So yeah, but overall, this is not something that you would be overwhelmed with, that you should be overwhelmed with. It's not that difficult, it's not that daunting. It's actually quite simple. You just have to start researching about it. Have you closed deals that you regretted? Yes, and I have fired clients actually. So I think all business owners should or would go through this. I think all business owners would go through this. And usually the clients that I regretted and I ended up firing are those who lowballed the pricing negotiation, and I didn't let them lowball me or anyone in my team, but they did try. Usually it's those clients that ends up being the bad ones and I end up firing them. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to talk anymore about that. Because I don't want to, say anything bad about them here in the podcast. Have you ever had a relationship with a client sour? How did you deal with that? Yeah, so that's, I ended up firing those clients. Um, how did I deal with that? Yeah, I fired them. So long story short, I tell these clients, hey, if it's not gonna work out because of this and that, and you're this, you're usually it's because they expect the sun, moon, and stars, and they're paying you peanuts. Usually it's because of that, or they're not paying you. They're paying super duper late. Like there was one client that I fired, um, that that did lowball me, and she was paying a very low amount. She was supposed to pay a very very low amount, but she never did pay. And so I told her, you know what? Keep the money, right? We rendered work for her. In fact, the website she's using right now is SEO hacker made, designed everything, and she didn't pay for that. She did not pay for that. She got it for free. So I told her, you know what? Keep your money. Keep your money. Keep the website. That's my gift to you. And yeah, para lang wala na siyang masabi, right? She can't really say that SEO hacker did her wrong because we let her keep everything and we let her keep her money. But I just didn't need that stress in my life and I didn't need her money. So I just said, let's just end it here, keep your money. Um, yeah, you're fired, pretty much that's what I was saying. So that's how I dealt with that. Just let them go. Let those clients go. If you don't need them, you don't need their money, let them go. You're gonna have more peace of mind. And I started business really to have more peace and more control of my time, more security. So I didn't need that kind of stress of her breathing down my neck and not paying us at all, not on time, but not at all. And also, she keeps on lowballing. So I didn't need that kind of stress. So yeah. Uh, Another question from Mitch. Can you share some of your best experiences as a client being approached through cold outreach? Can you give us some tips on how we can be good at it? The thing about cold outreach, whenever I get one, is I check first if it's something that I really need. Because if I don't need it, I'm not going to give time for that. Honestly, if you're reaching out to the CEO, like, so you're asking me, I'm the CEO of SEO Hacker, and I value my time, I would usually tell you to reach out to my assistant. I wouldn't be talking with you at all. If you're cold emailing me or you're reaching out to me and I don't know you, you got to go through my assistant, right? So I don't talk with people who cold outreach with me. And even if I reply them, I just tell them, please email so and so and get in touch with her, who's my assistant, right? So another thing that I check is, do we need that? Do I need that? Do I need that? Does SEO hacker need that? Because if we don't need that, I tell them that's not a priority. I'm sorry. Maybe next time. Maybe someday. Maybe next year, right? Because I don't want to give any more of my time for that. Because again, my time for me is guarded. It's precious. So I really would not pay any more attention to it than I have to. So yeah, for me, it's, if you're gonna cold outreach someone, you better make you better do some homework and check if they would need it, right? So there's one person who actually messaged me on LinkedIn today, and she said, "Hey, we're interested in SEO Hacker," and I messaged her back and said, so she said, "We're interested in SEO Hacker. Can we do a Zoom call maybe next week?" And so, of course, I'm used to cold outreaches like that, and I had to ask her, hey, fantastic. Thanks for reaching out. Are you interested in our SEO services? Just wanted to clarify. Or is it about something else? And it turns out she wants to sell me something about being able to hire legally abroad. Some people, VAs or some salespeople abroad, which could be something that I would look into someday in the future, but not now. So I haven't responded to her yet, but that is something that I would 100% turn down and say it's not yet time. We're not looking into that yet. So that's a cold outreach, and I didn't need it yet. So she would get that response from me. At least I do respond, right? Some people do not respond when you do cold outreach. So I do respond to cold outreaches, and I tell them It's not something that I'm interested in right now. So if you're gonna do cold outreach to someone, especially if it's a CEO or a CX executive, a C-level executive, you're gonna want to do some homework first if they really would need your product or service. Because if they don't, or if they already have a supplier, you're gonna want to pass on that one because they're just gonna give you a no, and that's fine if you have something more valuable when they say no to you, right? So if, for example, I turn someone down and they say, that's all right, but hey, if I can do anything for you, or maybe here's a free white paper for you that you want to check out if you're gonna look into it into the future, there's value right there. I rarely get that. I've gotten it once, and I appreciate that guy who did that for me. He cold outreached me and said, it's fine. It's if it's not time for you to do this right now or get my services, but hey, here's a free white paper that I made for you, Sean, that you might want to check out if you're going to be interested in our service someday or product someday. That for me is something that is valuable. I would look into that. In fact, I did read the white paper that he sent me, and he built rapport with me so that someday, if I do need that kind of service, he's probably going to be at least one of the people I'm going to hit up because he gave value to me without me asking for it, even if he was doing some cold outreach with me during that time. So yeah, I hope that helps, Mitch. I don't have a lot of tips for that because we don't do cold outreaches in SEO Hacker. All of the leads that we get are inbound or referrals from my network. So, yeah, yeah, hope that helps. Would you consider FB boosting from Bry over SEO for startups? It largely depends on what you're selling. So if it's novel, it's something new, or if it's food, usually FB boosting or FB ads work really well. Like, so not a lot of people would search for Chinese food or for steak to go, something like that, or for ribeye steak delivery. Not a lot of people would search for that. But a lot of people would interact with food video ads. We learned that, and I actually have data that people do interact with food ads on Facebook, on or Instagram. So for me, if your business is about food, you're selling food products, Facebook boosting or Instagram boosting or posting or social media marketing might be a really good digital marketing avenue for you to tread. But if you're doing B2B, like SEO Hacker, we're B2B business, SEO makes total sense. So one of our clients is Flooring Solutions. They do flooring chemicals for big companies here, usually the factories or the plants or the parking lots of these companies. Big, big, big companies. You probably know them. So Flooring Solutions, you're not gonna buy their chemicals outright. You're not gonna see a Facebook ad and say, "Hey, you know what? I need that chemical for my floor." Right? That's not gonna happen. So we don't do any Facebook ads for Flooring Solutions. But if you type in Google epoxy flooring or epoxy flooring Philippines or polyurethane flooring Philippines, you're gonna see them, and they're number one. So companies or the purchasers of these big factory companies, guess what? They Google. And those are the exact keywords that they search. Epoxy flooring Philippines, polyurethane mortar flooring Philippines, PU mortar flooring Philippines, waterproofing Philippines. That's exactly how the purchasers of these factories purchase from these flooring chemical companies. And because my client is number one, flooringsolutions.ph, they got so much business out of that. Super. Because these purchasers, they don't Facebook during work. And when their boss tells them, look for flooring chemical companies that can service our factory, they're not going to go to Facebook for that. They're going to go to Google 100%. So if you're a B2B company, high ticket, high value company, mahal yung products mo, millions maybe, I don't know, right? So if it's going to be like that, SEO makes total sense. Complete total sense. But if it's going to be food or an item that's brand new, maybe it's, a magnet that helps you become smarter, something like that. People don't search for those things, right? Because it's brand new, it's completely new. So you're gonna want to do ads for that. I hope that makes sense. There's just a big difference between Facebook ads, Instagram, and SEO. You're gonna and it's connected to Mitch's question earlier, where you're gonna want to look at the buying psychology of your target market. Paano ba sila bumili? How do they buy? What interests them? Do you need to whet their appetite? Like with food, kaya malakas sa Facebook and Instagram yan, yung mga ads yan. Kasi with food, you show them an ad, you show them a short video, it looks nice, juicy, yummy, you whet their appetite, they might want to order, they might want to message you. And how much is the food? Usually it doesn't cost like 10,000 pesos naman eh. So it costs like 100, 200, they can easily buy it through Facebook or Instagram. But in the case of my client, Flooring Solutions, for example, one PO could be in the millions of pesos. Could be, right? So I don't know. I don't know how much they charge, but it could be in the millions of pesos. You're not going to buy that over Facebook or Instagram. You're going to have a bidding, you're going to have a pitch, you're going to ask for a proposal, you're going to ask for a company profile, you're going to ask for a CI. Sobrang haba ng proseso that you're going to make my client go through because you're going to be certifying him or their company as a supplier of your factory, that you're not ever going to do that via Facebook or Instagram. You're going to do that via Google, you're going to do that via their website or via email. So I hope that helps, Brian, shed some light. And you do have a follow-up question here. Are you at liberty to disclose the brand or company here in terms of, yeah, Flooring Solutions? FlooringSolutions.ph. That's the exact URL. The company was known before as IIPI, or International Industrial Partners Inc. But I had to rebrand them. I asked the company owner, buti na lang he's open to it, to be rebranded, because I told him, your business name doesn't make sense at all, IIPI. You're in the flooring solutions business. You're in the flooring chemicals business. So I rebranded his company and I bought the domain name flooringsolutions.ph. And now he's number one for all his keywords. Very happy with what he's getting. And yeah, some of his best years actually came from the SEO that we've done for him. So yeah, thanks for asking. I hope that you're able to hit him up and also do business with him, with your hopefully new development firm someday. There you go. Research is the key. Yes, Mitch, the research is truly the key. Hope that helps, and I'm sure you're gonna be able to find success there. From V, how do you deal with first-time clients who ask for major discounts? I tell them, usually they would say kasi na ito mismo yung ihihirit nila. Mahal mo naman, mahal mo na SEO hacker. And the reason why they say that is they compare us with our competitors who are, sometimes they're one half our price, sometimes they're one third our price. Generally, they're a lot lower than our pricing, right? Our competitors have a lot lower prices, or they charge a lot lower than SEO hacker. And that's because of how they do SEO versus how we do SEO. There's no one way to do SEO that's going to be certified. Nasasabihin nilang that's the right way to do SEO. There's no one way. How we do it is white hat, completely ethical. We do it strategically. Some people would want to mix white hat and black, and becomes, they call it gray hat, a little bit of ethical, a little bit unethical in Google's eyes. It's not illegal. It's just, in Google's eyes, some of the things that they do are unethical. And I don't want any of my clients to be penalized by Google. So I practice white hat SEO. And SEO hacker is, I'm not so sure about this, but I do believe that we might be the only white hat SEO company here in the Philippines. Because if you look under the hood, you will be able to see, naman, if you know your SEO, what the other companies are doing with their clients. So, usually, when they say, mahal mo naman siya, ang mahal naman ng SEO hacker, what I say is, look at the value that we bring. Look at the clients that we have in our portfolio. Ang totoong mahal ay may binayaran ka tas wala nangyari. Right? You paid for something and nothing happens for you. Nothing good happens to you. You don't even reach first page, and you paid for that. And guess what? When you're not in the first page, you don't matter, right? Because people don't go to the second page of Google anymore. That's what I tell clients when they ask for discounts, or they want a lowball, or they say mahal mo naman siya. Sino ba talaga yung mahal? What's really expensive? What's expensive is you paid for it and nothing happens. But if you paid my price and I really bring you to the first page and you get 5 times ROI, or you make 5 times what you're making versus the year before, then we're not expensive. We're actually the best investment you're gonna be making in your life. So yeah, it depends on how you look at things. But I don't just say these things. I have data to back it up. I make 5 times I multiply what my clients make 5 times year on year. I have data to back it up, and I really show people the data. So if, for example, you're making, I don't know, like 20 million this year, next year you're gonna make 100 million because of my SEO for you. Mahal pa ba yun? Di ba? So if you look at it that way, SEO Hacker is not expensive at all versus what we're charging. So I hope that helps, V. And that's I'm a sales guy. I do sell, but I do make sure that we are able to back it up in our operations, in our strategy, in our practices. And yeah, we do produce the results we produce. And yes, my youngest son is here again. Ingay-ingay mo ha. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think that is the last question, guys. I think that's the last question. Oh, no, we have another question. Have you had to deal with a difficult lead? Have you had to deal with a difficult lead, but one that you felt the need to close? Yes, I have. I have. Actually, some of the deals I've closed that are deals that I really wanted, mahirap i-close, I would say. Right? So this year we closed a big telecom company, a big bank, and that was it's hard. It is hard. We also closed a couple more companies. We closed a big hospital located in San Juan area, very popular with the Philchai community, and that was a pretty tough deal. That was a pretty tough deal. I also closed a politician here in Parañaque. That took like more than a year for that to close. And I'm running my business in Parañaque. So obviously, I would like to serve that a politician that I do believe in, right? So, and we could hopefully, be able to help each other out in business. And I need to also make sure that I fix their website. The thing about government websites or politicians' websites is usually it's not good. And it's nakakahiya, di ba? Medyo nakakahiya. I don't want to be ashamed of our government websites and our politicians' websites. So I want to be part of the solution to help them to improve their website so that we're not the laughing stock of Southeast Asia. So yeah, we closed a lot of good deals this year, and I would say that the ones that I'm most proud of were probably the most difficult deals, right? Probably the most difficult deals. And that's usually because once you get that deal, you're in it for the long game, because they're also going to make it very hard for other companies to win their account. It just makes sense. If it's hard for other companies to win their account and you win their account, usually you keep it for a long time if they're happy with you. So you want to make sure that you also are able to produce results and keep your promises. So yeah, hope that helps, V. Another question is, what is your tried and tested way of making customers feel heard and cared for? We have our accounts management team. And our accounts management team, they take care of the clients. They talk with the clients often via Viber, WhatsApp, Telegram, email. I'm carbon copied in the email or CC'd in the email. And sometimes the client does tag me in the group in Viber or WhatsApp personally, and I do jump in and try to fix the problem. I am hands on and I'm personal with my clients. A lot of my clients are my friends now. We do get together sometimes, right? So that's how I am. I think you just really have to care about your clients. You have to care about what you're doing with them. You have to care about their business, that they're making money from what you're doing, or that you're producing the value you promised them. You got to care about that, because if you don't care about that, people will know, and people will spread the word, and you're going to lose business. You're going to lose your reputation as well. So yeah, I hope that helps, V, and I hope that answers the question. And I do think that is the last question, and just right on time, because we have hit 9 p.m. already. I know I was late. And we do have a winner for the contest. Let me just get to showing that winner. We are giving away every week a t-shirt, a leadership stack t-shirt. So this week, I'm not so sure if you could read the shirt, but I'm gonna remove that first. Yeah, so this week, this is the shirt I'm wearing. If serving other people is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. Okay? If serving other people is beneath you, then leadership is beyond. That's the leadership stack shirt I'm wearing, and this is the one that we're gonna be giving away this Thursday to next Thursday. We are going to open that raffle for you, and right now we are done with the giveaway, and we're gonna be awarding the winner for last last week. So this one ran last Thursday to this Thursday. The email is blocked here, but we have drawn the email address already. So my team will get in touch with you. Gem, Peter, I think I sent that over to you. Pete, can you help me out? What's the email address? Um, that's gonna be Jemmy Chiel Gemang. Jemmy Chiel Gemang. GEMANG at gmail.com. Right. So you got the shirt that we were giving away last week. Just make sure that this email address that you put here is legit, because that's where we are going to be getting in touch with you, and we're going to be letting you know that you could pick up the shirt, where you could pick it up. If you want me to be there when you pick it up, take a photo, let us know. I'm going to be there for you. So the I'm going to be opening the next giveaway shortly, and the URL is leadme.ph/giveaway. It's not yet open right now, so if you go to this link, what it will say is giveaway ended. But in a few minutes, we're going to open that giveaway, and if you're part of the Discord channel or the Leadership Stack Facebook group, we're going to post the link there when it's up, and you could join the raffle again. This is the shirt that we will be giving away for next Thursday. So the raffles are just 1 week cycle, and you're gonna want as much raffle points as you can get. And the raffle points, you can earn them by doing certain actions in the raffle, such as following our YouTube channel, or sharing it with other people, sharing the raffle with other people, maybe in your circle of friends, maybe in a Facebook group that you have. You could also do it that way. There is a special link where if people sign up using your link, your special link, they're going to be part of the raffle, and you're going to get a huge amount of raffle points for that. That's the best way to earn raffle points, actually, and win the t-shirt. The t-shirt is in small, medium, large, and XL size, so it's going to 100% suit all of you guys who are watching here. If you join the raffle, that's leadme.ph/giveaway. Again, it's not open yet, but in a few minutes from now, we're going to open that raffle, and we're going to announce it in the Discord channel and in the Leadership Stack Facebook group. So stay tuned. Again, this is Leadership Stack Live, giving value to you every Thursday night about entrepreneurship, leadership, and management. It's almost Christmas season, and happy holidays, guys. I am so blessed that you guys have been with me in this journey. Ilang years na ba tayo? July 2019 when we started. It's 2021. So we're 2 years already and counting. And I really appreciate your help, the value that you're getting, and you're sharing also to friends and family. We are so blessed to have you. And on behalf of the Leadership Stack team, thank you, thank you, thank you for a wonderful 2021. We're still going to be here next week. This is not goodbye yet. So that's Thursday night, 8 p.m. And I'll see you then. Take care.